Hey, how do you know if you're honoring somebody? How do you know if you're blessing them, building them up, giving them value, placing great worth on them? Is it by wearing their face on your shirt, all over your shirt, everywhere? I don't know. So, where? Good night. It's a lot. No, yes, but no. She says don't wear it in public. I bought it for the luau we just had. It got here the day afterward, so I'm wearing it now. That way I can embarrass her properly. I mean, honor her properly. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Honor is when you value a person by your words and by your actions. You show them that they're important to you. You recognize things about them that are, first of all, what God would say, which is that they are extremely important to Him. So much so that in Psalm 139, He has more thoughts of them than there are grains of sand. He's written their whole life down in a book before a day has happened in it. He says that He has mercy for them that is non-ending and forever. So can you state things like that to people? Can you recognize their uniqueness, their gifts, their passions, their character, or God's character in them? Can you recognize those things and state it to them? Verbally, that's easy. Can you show them by actions? Recognize what they're doing, help them do it. If you have a gift in that area, or you're strong in it, then maybe do it with them, and if you can, train them, again, verbally or by example, or set them with people who can be mentors to them, and then give them opportunities to mentor others that may have the same gifts or talents or weaknesses, and help them to show that off. Uniquenesses are particularly important. But you can also buy them things, give them something of value that's of value to you that would be of value to them. We just had our guest from France. We do the foreign exchange students, and he got here yesterday. He pulled out of his big old bag a big box, and it had, like, I don't know, 5-6 gifts for us from Charleville, France, or Charlesville, if you want to say it that way. But what we thought was cool is that there were so many things from his home country to say during that important. So he's been very gracious. Thank you for everything. So that shows that he honors us, that he finds great value in us. We're just presenting him a room. It's already there. It's already got a bed in it for, I think, about 3 weeks, and that's it. That's all we're doing. Okay, no, we're taking him a couple places, and we'll feed him. Yep, that's it. Not a big deal. He's been extremely gracious and nice and patient in our efforts to communicate with him, because he speaks French and some English, and then trying to speak the English for him is probably a challenge. So he honors us by his patience, and so honor. A lot of times we think of honor as something from the military. We honor or at least we should honor those people who offer their lives for us. They never know when they're going to be going into battle, and a lot of people have gone into battle. My dad was in Europe. There was one of my students was in the Vietnam War. We worked at a school in an area next to a naval air station. So many of our students had parents that were either gone a large portion of the time, or were constantly on call, ready to move. I remember I had to, I'd say had to, I didn't want to, I told him I'll help, but one of the guys in a kids football league says, hey, look, you're going to be the head coach. And I'm like, but the parents were all not single moms, but moms without their husbands, because the husbands were all gone off on a Navy ship for a while. And they were just, no matter what I did, they were like, it's okay, you got the kid, we're good, we're going to take a little break, you represent daddy right now, and like that. So they were very honoring of us. Well, guess what? We honor them right back. They're willing to give up their lives for our freedoms, for our sake. Now, I'm going to be going on a limb here and say freedom is, by definition, I believe by biblical definition, the power to do what you ought to do, the power to do what God calls us to do, not the choice to do whatever you want to do. That's silly. I can't come to your house and beat you up and take your stuff and hurt your family. That's not freedom. That's not liberty. So there is an ought to do. So God gives us the freedom to do what he calls us to do. So we ought to, in the Word and by listening to the Spirit, consider the freedom. And by that, I mean the freedom to honor others. Would you dare say things that are absolutely awesome about other people, whether it's a waitress or a person that's helping you out in a store, person on a bus in a mall. They're not on a bus in a mall, but on a bus or in a mall, or people that you come across at different locations. Maybe somebody at church, maybe somebody at a bowling alley, or at a pool hall. I don't know where you frequent. I don't know. But would you dare say some things to people that show that, hey, I appreciate blank about you. You dress well. I love that you were laughing. That was awesome. Thank you. You reminded me to have a good day. And then if you dare, go on and say, God obviously planted some cool stuff in you, some of his character in you, and I'm going to trust, our Creator, the one who gave us a plan for our lives, to continue to open that up for you. Is it okay if I pray for you? Or however God leads you to minister to them. Maybe it's a little bit bigger tip on the meal, and then a scripture at the bottom, Psalm 139, Jeremiah 29:11, that kind of thing. God created you fearfully and wonderfully, and it has an awesome plan for your life, that kind of thing. Some people leave tracts. Some people leave a card with a phone number on it. So I'd love to, if we ever want to communicate again, I'd love for you to meet with me and some of my friends or something like that. But honor. Now, what about a spouse? We don't have to honor our spouses, do we? Yeah, we really need to honor them. So sometimes you're going like, I already told her once I loved her. Well, if I change my mind, I'll let her know. No, tons of I love yous. Tons of just touches. And you can ask, what kind of touches do you like the best? And they don't have to be sexual. But, there's all kinds of little touches. Or, maybe the wife cooks your favorite food, or you take her out for her favorite meal. For some people, it's actually like buying gifts. So the gifts, or what maybe your wife put on the Amazon list, so you can get her something there. And again, it doesn't have to be finances, because we haven't always had much in the way of finances. But it can be something that's romantic. In the study of romance, I found out that I stink at it. So I studied it, and it mentions things like just catching the little things she says that shows that you're paying attention. In a small setting, actually, about 8 students around a table at lunch were talking at school, and they were talking about what they want to drive when they get older. This one very pretty girl, Gabriella, says, I want to drive a Firebird when I get older. And one of her favorite cars, and it's cost too much for her. And everybody laughed at her except for one little fellow, Juan. Juan actually went out that afternoon and went to a toy store, wrapped up a little box, gave it to her the next day at the lunch table. The same 8 people there. She opened it up, and they're all going, "What did he do, knucklehead?" Juan was just out of his league when it came to Gabriella, but Gabriella opened it up, and it was a Matchbox car of that Firebird. And everybody else again laughed, like, "You nut! She said you wanted a real Firebird, and you got her this little car." And she just looked at him and looked at the Firebird and looked at him again, and leaned over and gave him a kiss on the cheek. And everybody, all the rest of the boys went, "What? Gabriella gave him a kiss?" Well, guess what? He noticed what she said. She noticed that he noticed, and that little intimate detail. If nothing else, saying like, maybe one day somebody, hopefully me, could afford to buy you that car. One day you'll have that. That's a desire of your heart. It's worth remembering. I'm not saying that Gabrielle and Juan hit it off, because I don't know, but that kind of guy caught her attention. So guys, if you want to be romantic, remember something that she said, that she did, maybe in a card, maybe take a picture of it and say, "One day," right? And then we'll see what God does to make that one day happen, even if it's just renting that car for a day. I think my wife would like possibly a convertible, Maybe one day we'll take a convertible down to the beach and ride along the beach in that convertible and let our hair get really messed up. Stop at some nice restaurant and let them laugh at our hair. Get a nice meal. Drive back, mess our hair up even worse. Drop it off. And say we had a day with that car. People that have boats and pools, wouldn't it be cool if you had a boat and a pool? No, because then you got to take care of it. So now I just want a friend with a boat and a pool. So maybe just a day in a convertible. Every once in a while we get a day at a hotel with a nice pool. Or a friend with a boat that takes us out. By the way, if you're a friend with a boat or a pool, call me. Or a convertible that we can, just saying. So make them happy, recognize them, value them, recognize their strengths, either in a card or a poem. For you songwriters, yay, I get to write songs. You can write it in a song. My wife and I have written each other a song or two. Or just in some way remember them. And maybe even if it's in miniature or only for a day, but help them recognize their value to you by, in a way, recognizing what's important to them, and also stating what they're good at. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love is patient, kind, never jealous, boastful, envious. Doesn't rejoice in wrong, but it rejoices in truth. Endures all things, bears all things. These kind of descriptions of God and His character, when they show those kind of things. If they're good at teaching, encouraging, giving, serving, hospitality, whatever it is, songwriting, writing of any kind, whatever they're good at, just make sure you mention it, even if they haven't shown it in a while. Just remind them that they're God's and God is invested in them. Honor, worth, value, uniqueness. And so that places them back in identity with God. Sound okay? Love to hear from you. I'm just letting you know I have a book called Linking Moments. It's available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble if you're so inclined, if you haven't gotten one. I think they're cheaper these days, maybe down to $10. I may have a few left here if you're so inclined. The back of the book, the last 75 pages, is the names and character of God that I found from Genesis to Exodus, Genesis to Revelation. And within it are the motivations for intimate interaction with God, the methods to maintain that, and how to continue in momentum. That's right, motivation, method, and momentum. The 3 M's, a lot of I hope you enjoyed this. And also there's a steady flow of my stories on Facebook that you're looking at right now, as well as Journey to Know God on YouTube. They're all 3 to 20 minute videos, usually 5 to 10 minutes. Just my thoughts on what does a journey look like. A journey usually isn't camping overnight and staying there. It's camping, picking up, and moving on. So we want to pick up and move on when it comes to God. 2 of my most notable sources for this intentional journey are both by John Mark Comer. One is How to Find Time, which is called Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And it's just nailing us right now. This is my second time reading it. I read it, and then I'm sharing it with my son and my wife. And the second book that he put out after that was called Practicing the Way. Practicing the Way is just all the things that he felt like putting in a book for daily, weekly, monthly, or seasonal activity to keep us intimately interactive with God. Daily, like a little bit of quiet time, or solitude with God, not isolation, doing nothing. Might be Bible reading. Weekly might be things like community, church. He has this wonderful writing on Sabbath, how to put this thing down for 24 hours and just let stuff come loose, unwind, all the stresses come off, and be able to just enjoy, and then reset the thought life. Just eventually it's going to slow down, shut up, and stop interrupting, and you can just be at peace You can restructure. You can allow God's Spirit to speak. And then monthly or seasonally might be things like work at a clothing provider for people in need, or put food together, food packages together, or meals for people. Maybe share the gospel with somebody that's new, or spend some time in discipling, or as he calls it, apprenticeship to God. Awesome stuff. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Please honor people. Please find them of great worth by your statements and actions. And this has been a good one. I mean, this will save a marriage. So if you're interested, also don't be afraid to contact me. Thank you, friends.